Alright you guys, so today I welcome you. If you are new, welcome to this channel. If you haven't never seen a video of me, stay tuned because you're probably going to watch some either makeup, skincare, makeover, hairstyle, or even lifestyle. So I am recording this video, first of all, to actually say thank you y'all because we've reached to 600 and we're working very hard to reach up to 1,000 hopefully at the end of this month. And so what we wanted to do is, what I wanted to do basically was to thank you for stopping by and listening to me. The first thing I want to say is happy birthday to Romel, and he's the love of my life. Happy birthday, he just turned 26. Happy birthday to our friend Max, which was May 5th too. Romel's birthday was May 4th. And also, I'm happy to let you know that about 2 years ago, I actually lost my dad. For all of you guys who have been keeping up with my Instagram, I made it very clear that we've gone through so many rough challenges in life. And I think it's really good to put out there. About 2 years and so ago, I received a phone call from my dad and from my sisters that my dad had been gone missing. And it was very, it was unbalancing. It was like a shake in my life. And the reason why I want to share this again, it's this hasn't been the first time I actually talked about this type of stuff. May have been like a couple other times, but I want to make sure that you all know, because once he went missing, I realized that I could not live my life the way I lived it, just because I needed him in my life and I needed to make sure that he was doing okay. I am 26. I am 29 years old, and even though I'm 29, I spent 7 years living with my dad, and we were never close to each other. He was always very close to my sisters. I have one sister who has a mental disability, and another one who lives in Mexico as well. So I have two who live in Mexico and my mom. And I also have two sisters here. So the reason why I received this phone calls, it was to mainly tell me that I was in one in charge to go, since I lived really close by and lived in Vegas, to move over there and basically get him back. After many phone calls and a lot of pressure, like go to the border, make sure you're talking to the police officers, and between talking to the Tijuana police and San Diego police officers, it took about 6 months actually to get him back. And once I got him back, they told me that the place where he was a shelter who was about 4 to 5 hours away from the border in San Diego, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember very well. I took that trip, and Romel was waiting for me inside of the States because he was a little bit dangerous and he did not have an international passport, so he couldn't go with me. So I engaged myself into finding the truth about my dad. And once I got to this shelter, all I could remember is that once I walked into the shelter, they locked it in with the locker and with the lock. And then there was like a security guy who had a gun. And long story short, I spent there like an hour, probably an hour and a half. And they were asking for money, and they were telling me that they needed to make sure that my dad was going to be fine and that I was going to provide well for him, and that was the only way for them basically to give it to me. And apparently the people who had him before, they didn't really care for him, so they just dropped him at the shelter because no one really claimed him with money. And I honestly, I did my research, and I mean, I went through, I want to say it, so I'm going to say it. I went through hell for him. It was very painful to go and look for him at shelters. It was in San Diego, and it was very painful to go to the, the jails and the morgues and look through every single body that was there, and looked online for people who have died, for his body, for his face, to recognize him and make sure that it wasn't him who was dead. And I remember at the time, who right now is dead, sadly, may his soul rest in peace. My uncle would say all the time, like, maybe your dad is dead. Maybe, I know that you want to be hopeful and faithful, but maybe he is dead. And I remember it took us a long time, and it wasn't until one day that we decided to move back to Los Angeles and follow our dreams. I got a phone call from the officers in San Diego, and they told me, "We found your dad. Here's what you got to do. Here's a shelter. This is what you have to do in order to get him back. And when we wish you luck, we can't go with you because it's a Mexican entity." So I brought him back, long story short, and we ended up moving over here to the East Coast because my sisters swear that I was gonna get help by them, and I never got it. And I was never asking for money. I was asking for, people who would take care of him because he became demential. The two doctors who he has seen, they said that, he was just gonna lose his memory. So he's losing it. Like sometimes I would ask him, go and take a shower, and it's hard for him to go and take a shower. Sometimes he has his own bed, so he rather goes and lays on the floor. Sometimes I ask him like, "Hey, take out the milk so I can pour a glass of milk for you," and then he would be pouring, I don't know, water or the sauces. Like he's just losing it. And I just want to be mindful. I just want to remind myself and remind every single of you guys that if you guys have family, I have Dwamel, who, honestly, I would not be able to do anything without him because he's my source of strength, my source of love. And I think if he wouldn't be for him, I would not be here today. I'm doing what I do because of him. I am following my dreams step by step. I decided to go into the makeup industry because I wanted to involve myself and indulge myself in, kind of reinvent myself with makeup, and I did thanks to him. So I just want you to remind yourself that, if you have a brother, a sister, a mother, a father who you love, maybe you haven't talked to, or you just have a friend, or maybe you just know somebody, just tell them how important they are for you, the meaning of them for you. It gets hard. Life gets hard for everybody. But I just want to say, I don't want to make this video too long, but life is hard for everybody. So if you're watching this video, please make sure you're not making fun of anybody else's pain, because you never know if it's going to be you tomorrow. Please don't make anybody suffer or go through hell just because your ego is too big. You can't control it. Please make sure you're down to earth and humble enough to understand that sometimes we take the looks of somebody and we feel threatened by it, and sometimes we make them go through hell. And sometimes I realize that in this state, a lot of people feel threatened by the fact that I was a male and that I was Latino, and that they thought that I was cute, or they thought that I was more they have more knowledge than they did. So it's just like a little bit harder for me. And I'm taking this to the point where I recently actually watched Wendy Williams. She was judging Mariah Carey's performance on one of the recent awards, and she claimed and she praised her, and she was really great, and she was great. And on the other hand, she had a clip. I may insert it right now.
Congratulations, Mariah, on a good life. A good life. Madonna, let's talk about you. No. Nope. Nope and nope. And I come from the Madonna era, and I do believe that an older woman can still dip it into it and have fun. But, however, I think that she was trying too hard last night. Sitting on the floor. This is her boyfriend. He didn't deliver up there on the stage. I was like, okay, that's the boyfriend? I thought he was hot. Then, the whole time Mariah is performing, right, and all during the night, there was this man in a white outfit and a beard and a mustache. They kept showing. I'm like, who is that? Who is that? Brian? Honey, even Brendan said, whoo. Brendan, that's a good-looking man. I heard you. Let me tell you something right now. I thought that was Mariah's man, because especially when Mariah was on stage, he was really getting into it. But every time they showed him, Mariah was never there, and I just assumed she was backstage having a splash while he admired the rest of the show. Turns out this is Madonna's boyfriend. What?
Her collaborator.
Collaborator?
He's a Colombian music star, but they have a song
He's from
together.
Colombia? So that's same difference.
She had this clip just now where she's talking about Madonna. And the reason why I'm bringing this is because I just feel like no matter who you are, you should not be judging. You should not be dismissing. You should not be demeaning towards anybody. And if at some point I have ever done that before, I am sorry. I'm a human being, and I try to correct myself. But I'm not that type of person. I know for a fact that I try not to be that type of person because it does not only sounds bad, it's horrible if you're doing it. So what I'm trying to say with this is that Wendy Williams judging somebody by their age or because they are not dancing like they used to be or because someone else did better. I mean, honestly, I've always known that there's only one person who you should be judged by, and that's God. And so when she tells Madonna that she shouldn't be doing it, she should retire, she said it many times. To me, just like, oh, like, you know, like she recently went to, like, she actually stopped doing the Wendy Williams shows because she actually was in drugs. And I feel for her because I actually lost somebody because of drugs a long time ago. And I'm like, why can you judge? How in earth can you judge somebody when you have so much behind you? Like, you have, can you see around your now? Can you see around your shoulder and see how much you have for people to judge you? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Why would you allow yourself to judge somebody that you don't even know just because of their performance or just because of their age? Like, you're telling me that because, I don't know, I'm a man, I'm a gay male, and I'm 20 and 29, I can't be doing videos or makeup videos? Are you really saying that right now in 2019, 2020, 21? Are you telling me that because I am Latino and I was not born and raised in the United States, I can't speak fluent English? I can't speak fluent Italian? Are you telling me that because I'm a Latino man, gay, tall, I can't perform my own dreams? Like, are you telling me that? Like, what's wrong in the world so you can believe that? And little did I know that there are many people like that, not only in the East Coast, but in the West Coast, who truly believe that because you're because you're a woman, you should stay a woman. Because you were raped, you should keep your children or your child because that's the way God should do it. You're nobody to tell anybody. It's like me it's like a Caucasian woman telling me, oh, you gotta speak English because you're not allowed here in the States to speak Spanish. Girl, Spanish is only one of the languages that I speak. I can also understand and speak some of it: Italian, French, Japanese, Portuguese, Spanish, and English. Like, are you kidding me right now? English is not the only music that I hear. Just yesterday, I was listening to Ayumi Hamasaki in Japanese almost all day long. Are you telling me that I can't be myself because you're telling me that because of the color of my skin, I can't do it? Or because I look a certain way, I should not be accepted in certain ways? Like, that is not right. And if you're listening, if you're watching this video, you should, if you see it and you agree with this, comment down below. And also make sure you subscribe. And tell me how you feel about it. Because this is just me. This is just too much. And we are not allowed to do this. We are not allowed to let others bully others. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
To make me feel better. Drag Race.
Oh, RuPaul's
Oh
Drag Race.
my God!
Great show.
Oh my God! I
Yes.
love that show so much.
Yes. Have you met RuPaul?
No, I've never met RuPaul.
Well, he's my guest tomorrow night. Would you like me to send a message to him? Is there anything you'd like to say to him?
I couldn't talk. Like, yeah, just I love you.
Well, why don't you just say to him right now, Ru?
What?
Are you?
Wonderful. Great.
Hello. Did you join us for the next
No.
Well.
Thanks,
We have to go here in
Steven.
just a moment, but is there anything you would like to say to Rue? Well,
that
while you're
was
recovering,
unexpected.
is there anything, Rue, you'd like to say to Anne?
Darling, you are the winner of this week's challenge.